Welcome, everybody. This is Kathy and Kathy Williams, and I'm so excited to have a conversation with some of the other authors of Relationships Done Easy. This book has just been a labor of love for me and the other authors, and it really came to me about a year and a half ago in September of 2015, and it was like this energy that I knew wanted to form and come into form and create something. And so I followed that, and our book was released today, and it became a #1 bestseller already. So how's it get any better than that? I'm just so excited to open the door to greater possibilities with relationships, because so much of what we've grown up with has had a lot of strife and trauma and craziness. So, or that's what we've seen, and that's what we've come to expect in relationships. So how much fun can we have? And I'm just waiting for the other friends to hop in here. As I said, we did have a few little relationship with the computer challenges. So there's Marina. Hi, Marina.
Hi, Kathy.
Great. I can hear you. I can see you. Wonderful. So Marina, this is Marina McQueen, and it was just such a gift to watch your chapter like unfold. And at first you told me what you were going to write about. And then when I got the first version of the chapter, it wasn't about that at all. And I was like, hey, I thought you were going to write about sex, So it's
Thank you. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, so can you talk a little bit about that process? I mean, I know that initially you were like, yes, I'm going to write about sex and copulation, and then you're like, oh, but that's a little challenging. I don't know if I want to get out there that much. So would you talk about that process? Because there was a moment at which your chapter just shifted and it became like this, wow. And I don't know if there was a pivotal moment for you or what that was like. So would you say something about that?
Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah. So when you first invited me, it was an immediate yes, even though I was kind of uncomfortable about it. It was still a yes. And as I said in my writing, I'm really committed to going beyond that. Well, it's not really going beyond it, but I'm not allowing that to stop me from choosing. So I was like, okay, this is what I want to write about. I do want to write about sex. Is really kind of on my mind a lot, and so I wanted to write about it. And then when I began writing about it, I was actually like started turning into something else. So, and that was purely down to not really knowing that I was allowed to do it. I had a lot of kind of old programming that was telling me that I wasn't allowed to write about it. I wasn't allowed to say what I really thought, what I really felt, what I really was true for me. It wasn't something I'd ever grown up with. And the circumstances with regards to my chapter, what I'm actually writing about, was about when I was sexually abused as a child. So that whole event was about secrets and lies and being hidden. So to be at the point of actually sharing that with somebody else, and in a public way, was I was kind of going against a lot of kind of deep-seated learning that I'd had that I wasn't allowed to. So when you asked what was a pivotal moment, it was when you said to me, but didn't you say you're going to write about sex? And I was like, oh yeah, I did actually. So it was that invitation that came again from you to say, this is what you said. Is that still true for you? Is that something you still want to explore? Because this is the thing, what I experienced through the whole year really of writing this in different ways, is that you were such an open invitation for me. At no point did I feel like pressurized or scared, or I did, but by myself, not through anything you ever did. So that openness, which you then just said, oh, so what about this? Really, really gave me so much space to give that back to you in what you were asking for. So it was, yeah, that was it. That was my pivotal moment.
Thank you so much. I get that it's so vulnerable to even write about sex, even if you have not been sexually abused. And then thank you for mentioning that that's so cloaked in secrets. Yeah. So I'm wondering what invitation this book, and I know another author who's going to be here in a moment, I think, also had some of that going on, the secrets, more of domestic abuse and things like that, and how those really color the way we show up in our relationships. Would you talk a little bit? I know the chapter is a lot about unwinding that and stepping into what was really true for you. Would you talk a little bit about that process and just give a tiny taste for people?
Yeah, what else exactly? Could you say that again?
Yeah, just unwinding and coming to, I know you lived in the victimhood for a while and stuff like that. And what are a couple of things that maybe helped you step out of that?
Oh my goodness, good question. Thank you. Well, the thing that helps me step out the most is knowing that it's not meant to be this way. My life's not meant to be this way.
So what
Um,
way? What,
it wasn't meant to be this kind of shut down, and I was kind of frustrated because I do have a lot to express and a lot to share, and I wasn't really getting the opportunity to do that. So I was driven by something inside that just kept on pushing me, and it's been an on so far a lifelong evolution of growing into that and allowing that and choosing that and having the courage and the vulnerability to allow myself to not really know what what else was possible, but to choose it anyway. And also, I had to get to the point where I was just had enough. And I actually I had a huge capacity for um, not having a good time. All through my adult life, up until maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I had a big capacity for having a really crap time. And that was just meant to be. So, yeah, it was changing that, actually, changing that. Yeah.
and welcome, Danna Lewis. I'm excited to talk with you. So a crap time in sex or in relationships or both?
In my life.
In your
Yeah.
life?
My whole life was
Wow.
not great, not great, and I'm very stifled and unexpressed and hidden and shut down, and I just knew that wasn't really me. That wasn't really me. I'm quite expressive and joyful and playful and deep, and I wasn't really getting all of that possibilities to explore all of myself and share all of myself, and it just became more powerful to really let go of that past and take a step into something else, even though I had no idea what that was.
Wow. Well, your chapter is so vulnerably rich with the fact that initially you thought that this fear response was sexual excitement, and then the story of how you realized that that wasn't what it was at all. And yeah, just so much of, I love what you say in the beginning of the chapter, where it's like having a nurturing relationship might have been akin to landing on Venus, you know, or in the rings of Saturn, you know, so far was it from your day-to-day experience. But to just watch how your life unfolded, and also that you were that willing to be present with us and get real with us through your chapter is, and you know, the journey of that and what questions you asked and stuff like that is such a gift. So thank you so much, Marina. And you can read Marina's chapter in Relationships Done Easy, which is on Amazon as we speak, and it just became a best-selling new release.
Yay, congratulations to us all. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and we also have a website, relationshipsdoneeasy.com. So if you happen to be catching this, today is February 12th, and we have some specials for people who buy it today. And who knows, you know, if you're watching this after the fact, you might be able to pick up one of those as well. So head on over there. And Danna, so thank you so much for being here.
Good morning.
Yay!
Hi,
Congratulations. Hi. Hi, Marina. Oh my gosh,
Hi.
Congratulations, you guys. How does it get any better?
How does it? Yes, I love your
Oh my gosh.
enthusiasm. Yes.
It's been so exciting to be on Facebook and to feel the energy and be a part of everything and all of the authors. I mean, it's really phenomenal. Really cool. And my I didn't bring it with me, but my my partner and his son got me a really cute congratulations card, and it's just really sweet. They gave it to me this morning. So yeah, it was really sweet.
Well,
yeah.
your partner is very much a part of your chapter. So would you tell us a little bit about that? I mean, to me, watching you telling this story is so rich and juicy, and like it makes it really tangible that that's possible for other people too. So would you say something about meeting him and how your relationship has unfolded?
Yes, you were cutting in and out, but I got the gist of that. Yeah, Rob is very much the chapter. It wouldn't exist, you know, if he wasn't such a huge part of my life in choosing all of this. We sat last night and listened to my recording of the chapter. Right, we were just drinking some wine, and we had some family stuff going on, and it was late at night. I'm like, hey, will you listen to my chapter with me? And we just sat here and listened to it, and we both teared up, and we got to the end of it, and of course I was doing a little self-criticism. I was like, oh, I talked too fast, or blah blah blah. I was like, okay, let's just receive all of this. And we just looked at each other. He's like, you wrote that? That's us. You know, he's like, that's awesome stuff, you know? And I looked at him and I was like, it's beautiful. I said, and I also get that I am not doing all of that all the time, you know, like all of the tips and tools. So I think one of the most important things for me to even say to anyone is that wherever you are, you can choose something different in any moment. And when things go sideways, as I like to say, you can always choose something different. So I'm over my own like self-criticism of not being like perfect all the time with all of this stuff. And just really grateful for all of these tools. So Rob and I been together a little over 2 years. And you alluded to this earlier, Kathy, when you were talking to Marina. My childhood was filled with domestic violence until I was, 11 or 12, when my mother finally left my dad. So I certainly didn't have healthy, beautiful, loving, kind, generative relationship modeled to me. And then you watch TV shows, especially sitcoms, and they're always bashing the men on sitcoms. And it just, there's so much societal norm around that piece too, like bashing the men and then coming from domestic. It's very confusing and very like, what is all of this insanity? And just always had that seed of something else is possible here. There's something else that is possible from a space of loving kindness and gratitude. And I get it. We all get irritated. We all get frustrated. Lots of things come at us during the day and show up, and we create all sorts of stuff in any given moment. And when you actually make a choice to be more present, like I did, and like I continue to, and as Rob continues to, I mean, we've both been married before, and we really would like to choose something that is softer and kinder. And sometimes that requires an intensity, and sometimes it requires a breath. So for me, it really is an invitation to something different, and to really look at people and say, are you willing to lead yourself?
Yeah.
Again,
yeah.
And I keep saying this because like last night there was some family stuff going on. I'm like, we are not perfect. We are not perfect co-parents. We are not perfect partners. I'm not perfect with my career. Like there's just things and all sorts of circumstances. And these tools and what all of these authors are bringing to the table with their stories gives people, I think it gives people so much more permission to be like, hey, I can have more creative control over my love life here, and keep moving forward and keep creating more. And have, we talked about this the other day on my radio show about having like more gratitude for yourself, having more kindness for yourself, and then letting that filter out.
Yes. Thank you so much. I don't know if I'm on your end. Relationships about. There's no one they don't affect, right? And
true.
That element of gratitude for anyone in our life, and how much that does grow things. And one of the things I really do love is that, you and Marina and so many of the authors mention that the start of their life with their relationships, or at least the start of their love life with others, was not always smooth. The journey was a little rocky and bumpy and stuff like that. And we don't, as you said, often have great examples.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got the energy of the book, it was really the knowing that this would be an invitation for people to create more, and people to do and be in relationship in a different way than how they'd grown up, or the other examples they'd had in their lives. So and that's just so rich, because I also love that you just mentioned, I don't always do it well, and that's so true. I mean, even reading our own chapters with me and gratitude and presence and all of that, which I mentioned in my chapter, it's like, yes, sometimes I get in and I muck it up too. So, I mean, we have a lot of information coming at us, and a lot we'd like to get done in life, and we don't always live or embody what it is we talk about, but when we do, it makes life so much better. And it's like that 80% of the time doing it great, and then 20% of the time, or hopefully even less, that it's like, nah, oh well, I looked at that, I can again. And in the back of the book, one thing that I added and was some questions for the reader. Okay, I'm getting tagged in Facebook a lot.
I know. It's fun. It's an exciting day.
Yes. Questions for the reader, like what questions, what chapters sparked something in you? What could you use from those chapters to create something in your life? Maybe Danna had a question that really resonated, or some other author, or a tool, and And you, I have to say, included so many juicy tools that the chapter was so beautifully long, we had to cut it. But I'm so grateful that you found a way to like link people to the other tools. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's really funny. You know, this is the third Happy Publishing book that I've been an author in, and again, this one, I'm proud of all of them. This one, because of the backstory that we were talking about, has such a special place in my heart. And yeah, I overwrote the chapter by like 1,000 words. I was like, oops. And we did really well in like working through that. And my chapter has 10 delicious weed tips. And what I did was there's also 10 conversion of those tips. I call them luscious leadership life hacks, where like, because the thing is, wherever you are, whether you're at work or home or other relationships or with your own personal self, all of these tips and tools, you can take them, spin them around, and use them in any space of your life. And that's one of the things that I love to do is be like, hey, like you can flip this. Like here's where you can apply this at work, you know, and then allow work life and home life and et cetera to contribute to each other. So yes, on my website, the delicious tips and tools have been hacked over to, you know, to Luscious Leadership Life Hacks. And they're on my website and people can go check those out and use them. I'm looking at all the books behind you. And all I'm thinking about is like how this book can live on people's bookshelves, in their homes, like this is what I love about all these books. I mean, you can pick it up at any time, open it up to any page, and you'll receive something. You'll learn something. You'll be inspired by something. You'll be excited about something. You'll be empowered by something. I mean, I can't wait to, we ordered our books earlier today, one for our house in Monterey and one for the apartment in San Francisco. And it's like, I know we'll be picking them up and looking at them and using them to our advantage.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that too. And I mentioned it in the book because, you know, you might read a chapter on one day and find something in it and read the same chapter like a month or 3 later and be like, wow, I didn't see this piece. And this is the part of it that is really going to, you know, add to my life today. And the fun part about it is there are so many different authors. There are 22 authors. So it's like each chapter has its own energy. Each person added a flavor to the book that's like, wow, there are chapters that are super powerful and like present, and I'm here with you and we're going to do this. And then there are other chapters that are a sweet invitation and with questions that are just like, zing, here it is. It may seem very gentle, but man, watch out, because that's a life changer, you know, and everything in between, with people who are straight and gay and married for a long, long time and married for a short time and not married at all and divorced. There are at least 5 people who are divorced. And one of the women details her journey and making it easier. And so it's like what's relevant today might be one thing in one chapter, and then you'll find something else tomorrow. So it's definitely one like to keep in your bathroom and be like, oh, wow, cool.
I'm actually really glad you said that, because here's the cool thing about this. We've learned, like, you can only change yourself and look at these things from your points of view and discuss it with other people. Like Rob and I talk about these things and talk, argue, cry, laugh. I mean, we have all sorts of conversations about all these different ways to create something greater in our relationship. And one of the things that works really well is when you leave a book in the bathroom. Like, I leave books in our bathrooms and I know that they get read. I know that they get picked up and perused through. And so to me, that's like the subtlest way of inviting your partner to check this stuff out. Because they'll be like, hey, what's this? And they just pick it up and get something without you ever having to even, put it in their face. Because sometimes that doesn't work so well.
Absolutely. When you try to force someone to change.
Yeah, it does not work well.
Yeah.
At all.
So we talk about some subtle ways to change yourself and maybe to invite your partner
Exactly.
as well. Yeah.
The invitation.
Well, it's been such a delight getting to know you, Danna, through the process of this book. And where can people find you?
Well, if you're in San Francisco or Monterey, find me because I love meeting people in person. Otherwise, you can go to my website, www.danna, D-A-N-N-A, Lewis, Lewis.com. And there's lots of stuff on there. And I've mentioned this before. For me, it's all about leadership and really being more present with yourself, being strategically aware and courageously kind. So if I can just leave on the note of wherever you are today, acknowledge what you've created and just be kind with what you're choosing greater now. Because if you're listening to this, if you're looking at the book, if you're picking the book up, you're choosing something greater. And that will be a huge contribution to yourself and the world.
Thank you so much, Danna.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you. Congratulations. I'm going to go back on Facebook and read all the juicy stuff.
All right. Thank you so much. You can find Danna and Marina and me and all the authors at www.relationshipsdoneeasy.com. And the book is on Amazon. Go play with it. Kindle should be released really soon, if not already. So Relationships Done Easy. May it bring you delicious relationship possibilities beyond what you've ever imagined. That was my intention in creating it, and it's already changed my life. So may it change yours for the better. Aloha.